Good morning, how are you doing? I'm Lenny the Woodworker, and we're moving along here on our series on how to build your own strip canoe. This is probably my favorite part, is where we're at now. And I'll tell you why. It's the sealer coat. And the reason I like it is because now you can see your design that you picked out, you can see what the final color look like. I mean, it's a little rough and things like that because it was a rough grit and it's just a sealer coat, but you still get the general idea of what your boat's going to look like. Okay, listen, watch to the end because I have some bonus stuff I want to tell you what you should be doing while glue is drying. I don't even miss out on that too, so stay to the end. Okay, so in our last video, you mounted the stems and then you used the epoxy with the sanding dust to fill all the holes and voids and things like that. So after that dries, now you want to do, I think in the last one I told you I sand to roughly about 80% of the finished hole. Now you're going to sand to the final like dimensions you want. It's called fairing the hole. You want to make sure everything's smooth. You want to check it because this is it of shaping your canoe. And you'll find that the epoxy is pretty tough. So I again start with a 40 and then work up to a 60 and then finally just an 80 grit. You don't want it too smooth because you want the wood to absorb the epoxy. You're going to get your boat smooth in the end when you start epoxying and varnish it. That's when it's going to get like glass. If 40 grit is a bit rough for you, you're worried about it, you could just do a 60 or just do an 80. Little tip, what I like to do is two things. If it's a nice day, remember I built mine on wheels, I like to roll it out of the shop in the sun. Nothing shows every little imperfection like the sun. So if I can, I take it out, put it in the middle of the lawn. It's nice too, you're sanding too, you're not getting your shop you know, all dusty. You go out there and you sand it down to 80, you take out every single imperfection and make it perfect, okay? Once you get it and you're happy with it, now you're going to apply your sealer coat of epoxy. All right, and this is how you do it. You're going to mix up your epoxy, all right, according to the directions. And you're going to start, you want to keep a wet edge. It's just like painting in a house, but you're using epoxy, it just dries a little quicker. You want to keep a wet edge. So what I do is I'll start here up roughly the halfway point. Okay, I'll do three feet of it. And I'll pour it on there and then I'll roll it. And they actually sell rollers, micro rollers, there we go, if you can see that. They sell rollers for epoxy and this works really well. So I pour it on there and I roll that section out, let it sit for a minute or so, then you squeegee it. These are, you can get these for Bondo, they use them for Bondo. And I'll do it here so you can see. So you pour it out, roll it, let it sit for a little bit, and then you go back and you squeegee it all the way down, get all the excess off. Put it in your cup or wipe it on a rag. How you're going to want to work down the boat is do this section, go over here, do that section up to that point. Come back over here because you got this wet edge, do a section, pour it, roll it, squeegee it. Go over there, so you're going to go down the whole boat. Takes a good hour, and you don't want to stop in between when you start it. This is what you're doing, and you're going to work your way down the boat. Once you get down, you're just going to let it sit to dry. But what I should have said earlier, in the videos earlier, is if you started building your boat already, you'll see that you're gluing some of these strips. You got to wait for them to dry. There's other stuff you could be doing, because when you flip this boat over, you're going to need seats, a yoke, everything. So let me show you some of the stuff I've been doing. In the bow of the boat, I like to do a little inlay. So while I'm waiting for glue to dry, you go back and forth to these things. I did a little inlay here, a little compass rose, and it'll get its final cutout. Once I flip it over, I'll fit it into place. That should look good. It's really going to pop when I put the epoxy on this. So you can work on things like that. Also, you're going to need a yoke. A yoke is, you know, what you use. It's in the center of the boat. You put it over there. It helps you, whoops, knock my hat off. Helps you carry your boat. Look a little gangster there. So you can work on that. And then the wood you want to use is, traditionally they use ash, very hard wood. If you can't get ash is sometimes hard to get. You want to use a white oak. Having said that, I'm actually using hickory because I like the look of it. I didn't want it plain. And really, this is very hardwood, but it's going to get sealed completely with the moisture. If you take care of your boat, you can really probably use any hardwood that you want. And then the next thing is I started milling the pieces. I'll show you for the seat. These are 1.5 inches. So I just started milling them. Still got to make them. So there's still other things you could do. You know, while you're waiting for epoxy to dry, while you're waiting for your strips to dry, because we still have to make the seats, cane the seats. There's a lot of work to do, and they're going to be in some future videos. So please subscribe so you don't miss out on anything. And if you got to this point, congratulations, enjoy it. This is the color that is going to be. Now it's the fiberglass, getting this all smooth before we flip it over and finish the inside. I want to thank you again for watching. Please subscribe because, again, after this boat's done, we're going to continue doing videos. I have chairs to make for people. I have a lot to do, so please subscribe. Thank you for watching. Bye.